Hey everybody, I hope you all are doing well and welcome back to Michael's Matters. And of course, as per usual, I am Michael, and for those of you who are here in the US, and according to the YouTube demographics, that's, well, pretty much basically everybody, happy Labor Day. Now this week, we have some really interesting proposals coming out that could directly affect those Americans who receive Social Security benefits. So that'd be benefits like Social Security Retirement, Social Security Disability, or SSDI, Supplemental Security Income, SSI, as well as VA and Railroad Retirement benefits that are also attached to that. This is because there is a new proposal in Congress that would eliminate the federal taxes paid on all Social Security benefit payments, aptly named the quote-unquote, "You Earned It, You Keep It Act." You know, it doesn't really roll off the tongue a lot, like the cafe or some of the other standards, but it's still pretty good. Now, if it does pass, it would put real money into the pockets of millions of retired Americans, seniors, and basically folks on disability. So I think overall, hopefully it passes, and that is good. Additionally, this week is traditionally known as not only just the last day of summer, but the first day of election season in an election year like this one. And like Christmas decorations already coming out in all the stores right now, campaign issues are already being created out in front of all of us Americans. So from the early looks of it, one of the biggest issues that's going to be fought about over these next couple of months is going to be social programs. That's things like food stamps and healthcare, and most importantly, for the 64 plus million Americans who receive Social Security benefits, Social Security. More aptly, how to fix it, or at least how to hold it together until the largest group of retirees in U.S. history can get the benefits that they were promised in their golden years. So today we are talking about the potential elimination of federal taxation on Social Security benefits, how Social Security will be a huge part of this year's midterm election campaigns, and how Social Security might be a winning issue for Democrats if Republicans keep fumbling their Social Security policies. Now, this is Michael's Matters, and before we get to it, if you like these videos, if you find them interesting, if you find them helpful, or if you at least find them useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification button as well. That way you can get updates when my newest and most informative videos become available. All right, now let's get down to it. So the first thing I want to cover today is new legislation being proposed by Democratic Representative Angie Cragen from Minnesota, known as the You Earned It, You Keep It Act. What it would do is remove the federal taxes that come out of seniors and retirees and folks on disabilities benefits. Currently, folks on Social Security benefits are taxed federally, but using a formula that basically takes the household's adjusted gross income, it adds in their non-taxable interest, in addition to 1/2 of their Social Security benefits. Then, if this combined income is more than $25,000 for a single person or $32,000 for joint filers, that portion can be taxed. Now, the exact amount will actually vary depending on each person's or household's income. And that also doesn't include state taxation in the states that do tax it. But the long and the short of it is that these taxes, if they are removed, are additional money that older Americans, they need right now, more than ever, to help cope with the increased cost of living, inflation, medications, and so on and so forth. So according to Representative Craig, she said, quote, "Social Security is a promise we have made to the American people that if you work hard and you play by the rules, the dignity of a secure retirement will be within your reach." You're here to that, right? Now, of course, there is always never going to be free lunch. And living in the real world, this cannot just be done with a flip of the switch. The money to cover the lost tax revenue from Social Security benefits would need to be funded from somewhere. Now, the proposal indicates that the way this would happen would to raise taxes on workers who pay into the Social Security payment payroll tax. It's part of the reason why when you get paid, the money looks different from what's on your paycheck from what actually gets into your bank account. Those taxes. In technical terms, the way it would work is it would lift payroll cap on only high-earning Americans from the current max of $147,000, which can be taxed, up to $250,000 worth of payroll income that would then be taxed. Of course, again, this is just a proposal, and it really does have a long way to go before it becomes a bill on Capitol Hill. But it's important to know about these things, because if you do live in Minnesota, or really have a member of Congress who is receptive or supportive to these kinds of bills, now is the time to reach out to them and let them know you want them to support it. I mean, that's how things ultimately end up getting done, right? Now, as we get into the campaign year and we see politicians losing their minds, saying weird things, doing even weirder things in that kind of odd frenzy to get reelected, one of the biggest issues that both sides are really starting to throw back and forth at each other is the current status of the Social Security program. This, of course, in my mind, is kind of sort of a good thing and kind of sort of a bad thing. It's good first because realistically, it needs to be fixed. There are some very serious fundamental issues with the program that, if they're not fixed, will result in diminished benefits, higher senior poverty, and ultimately less strong USA. But on the downside, it is a campaign year. So there's going to be phone books of promises made by members of Congress that their bodies couldn't cash even if they were elected dictators for life. Hail Caesar. Already, we see both sides talking about funding, defunding, strengthening, and canceling the Social Security program as a whole. I mean, even reading the proposals, I feel like one of those cats just chasing laser pointers around because there's just so much all over the place. From the Democratic side, we get things like the You Earned It Act, like we just talked about, as well as the Social Security 2100 Act, or the Social Security Expansion Act, all of which are looking to put more money into the pockets of seniors via more government support. And also, we have to be serious about it, low-key looking to win more support for the Democrats from the massive voting bloc of American retirees. Now, on the opposite side, you have Republicans like Ron Johnson, who are talking about mandating renewal votes on the program, Social Security, every single year. Or Rick Scott, who is generous enough to extend that to 5 years, as well as other Republicans throwing out proposals that would basically kneecap the Social Security program with the belief that it is fundamentally not sustainable, and why should you throw bad money after good? Of course, that's not to be said for the millions of seniors who are using Social Security benefits for basically 90% or more of their monthly income. Or folks like me, who may never see a dollar out of the benefits that we are currently paying in for. Now, the trickiest part of all this is that both parties are using the Trojan horse of fixing the program to justify their proposals. And the hardest part is that, they're both kind of sort of right. Yeah, the program is flailing. It's like the electrical system here in California. It was never designed to provide electricity for a population who have computers and cell phones and electric cars and electrical devices that could have not have been conceived of when the power system was developed. They had no idea of knowing how much power each person would end up using. So it is overworked, and so is the Social Security program. But that doesn't mean you just end it and leave everybody fending for themselves, or create private solutions that are just basically short-term solutions that are not long-term sustainable. And for sure, if this program is cut, it will mean a worse off life for folks like our grandparents, our parents, and yes, even ourselves if we ever get to 67 years old. Now, to continue on this doom train, Social Security, as its status quo right now, is in pretty rough shape, to say the least. When surveyed by Gallup, 89% of retirees say that they need their Social Security benefits just to make ends meet. Furthermore, 84% of the non-retired individuals who were polled say that they believe they will have to rely on the Social Security program for a big portion of their income in their golden year. Which brings me to this last point, is that according to the Social Security Board of Trustees, that's the folks who manage Social Security, on this current course, if nothing has changed on the Social Security program, by the year 2034, they may need to reduce benefits by 23% to ensure the program can stay solvent at least out to 2096. Now, if we think about that in technical terms, so the COLA, that is, of course, the cost of living adjustment, right now, on average, is about 2% a year. Also, right now, the average check in 2022 is $1,661 for a Social Security beneficiary. By 2034, if we follow along that path, it would mean that the average beneficiary would get $2,107 a month. Now, in 2034, if they end up lopping off 23%, that would mean that average retiree would lose about $484.51 from their monthly income, or a total of $5,814 a year. So that is definitely bad. So look, I don't know what the current solution is to the Social Security problems, or who needs to pay more or who needs to get paid less. But what I do know for sure is that if nothing is done, there is going to be a lot of pain for seniors, for retirees, and for folks on disability into the near and long-term future. And at some point, one point or another, we will all be included in one of those groups. So we're all going to feel that pain if nothing is done. All right, so that's it for this week's Social Security updates. Not to leave things on such a gloomy note, but in reality, it's truly important to understand the need for changes to this, beloved Social Security program. Also, I think that the solutions that we'll need will ultimately be a mixture of both what the Republicans and the Democrats are proposing. there's going to need to be a shift to help pay for this temporary influx of people onto the program. I mean, if we want to keep with that energy grid metaphor, over the next couple of years, the usage for Social Security program as baby boomers run out the courses of their life is going to be very high. But at some point in the next few generations, the number of people going in and coming out of the program will get back closer to an equilibrium. So, for the time being, what we need is something that will work in the short term, but that can also be adjusted. It's not set in stone for future when the numbers come back and start working again in the long run. So that's it for today's Michael's Matters, and I want to thank you all who made it this far in the video. And again, if you do like these videos, if you find them interesting or helpful or at least useful, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember to hit that notification button. That way you can get updates when my newest and most informative videos get put up. So for Michael's Matters, I'm hoping that you take care of yourself, take care of others, and have a happy, healthy